Dear participants, welcome to today's webinar titled Pros and Pitfalls of AI in Dental Education. I am Eren and I will be your moderator for this session. Artificial intelligence is transforming many fields, including dental education. Today, we will explore the opportunities AI brings to dental radiology education, as well as the challenge that come with it. We are honored to have two distinguished speakers with us. Professor Ingrid Rosilo Kalinowska, head of the Department of the Dental and Maxillofacial Radio Diagnostic at the Medical University of Lublin. Between 2020 and 2024, she served as the Vice Dean of the Faculty of Medical Dentistry, and Professor Ingrid is a member of the University Senate. She is a specialist in radiology and diagnostic imaging, and also Dr. Elif Sena Sargan, PhD student in dental and maxillofacial radiology at Süleyman Demirel University in Turkey. Our speakers will share their insight on the use of CranioCatch AI-powered education platform and reflect on the evolving role of AI in dental education. Following the presentation, we will have a question and answer session, so feel free to ask your question. Now, I would like to invite Professor Rosila Kalinowska to begin.
Thank you so much for this kind invitation to deliver a webinar for CranioCatch. And together with Elif, we would like to share our experiences with the software. And I would like to say that we have had a chance to very closely cooperate using CranioCatch because as Erasmus exchange PhD students, Dr. Elif had a chance to spend 2 months in Lublin, in the Medical University of Lublin in my department, where we started a research study. And in fact, we have seen each other not a very long time ago because Elif has only recently came back to Turkey, to Isparta. So as we share the research project, we also decided to share this webinar. And it's entitled Pros and Pitfalls of AI. As we know, AI is not so very perfect, at least yet. And that's why we wanted to have a look at the use of AI in dental education. So first, I will give you a short introduction, or maybe not so very short, but an introduction to concepts of AI in dental education. And then Dr. Elif, she will follow with information on our study. So I hope everything is working, that you can see my shared screen, and the slides will be changing during my presentation. So AI. A few years ago, I wrote an editorial about artificial intelligence, and then the title was whether AI was hype. And after a few years, I think that AI is not hype anymore. Of course, we still talk a lot about AI, but AI is everywhere, all around us, even if we do not realize that it's there. But if we are users of the internet, if we use mobile phones, and I think that very few people do not do this nowadays, we already interact with AI. So AI is not a new term, or maybe is it a new term after all? It depends on how we look at the history of humankind. Because in terms of the history from the first human beings back in Africa, long time ago, AI has been with us for a very short time, like blink of an eye. But when we discuss the development of science and how AI entered our lives, I think that it's been with us for quite a long time after all. So everything is just relative. And the concept of AI goes back to 1950s. And as you can see, at that time, AI was just a simple game, a very, very huge computer with power, which was less than probably just a tiny kid's game nowadays. But at the time, Alan Turing, who really devoted a lot of his research to AI, said, I believe that at the end of the 20th century, the use of words and general educated opinion will have altered so much that one will be able to speak of machines thinking without expecting to be contradicted. Well, these machines, they do not think, at least yet, because we train them to follow some algorithms. But who knows, in a few years, maybe they will really start thinking. Already last year at the European Congress of Radiology, which is held annually in the beginning of March in Austria, in Vienna, the opening ceremony of the Congress was carried out by a humanoid robot. And if you are interested, the video can be found on YouTube. And what about AI? What about robots in education? Not just dental education, education in general. Can robots be educators? Well, according to a survey on strategy in education, there is a global shortage of teachers, of human teachers. Why? Because recruitment of teachers is becoming increasingly difficult. The interest from graduates is declining due to the fact that teachers suffer from very high workload, stress, and they are poorly paid compared to other graduate professions. So there are some advantages of robots as educators. Robots are not tired. The robots are not under stress. They can perform consistently and they improve, they keep on improving with technological advancements. But there are also cons, not only pros. So what are the disadvantages of robots as educators? At least as we are speaking today on 28th of July, 2025, we consider that soft skills would be hard to replicate with robot teachers. However, as an educator, as a university teacher, I can observe that we really do have to teach even our pre-graduate students soft skills, something which was obvious for me as a student 30 years ago. We used to talk to patients, take medical history, and we did it. We used to do it with a kind of intuition. Now we have to teach our students soft skills, so maybe we will be able to teach them to robots as well. Another of the listed disadvantages is that it's difficult to provide support and individual guidance to human students. And at least now, it's difficult to deal with behavioral challenges because we humans, at least as now, we are much more complicated in terms of psychology than the robots. And definitely, we do know as educators that teaching is more than imparting information and assessment of the learning outcomes. There's a study that's really interested me. It's about children. It's about preschool children in Singapore. And the study was published last year, and it was focused on children aged from 3 to 5 years. And this study examined trust of these little children toward accurate and inaccurate robot informants versus human informants. So the robot or a human adult labeled some familiar objects, and for example, they could say, this is an apple pointing out to a pear. And children's trust was assessed by examining their subsequent willingness to accept novel object labels provided by the same informant. So, regardless of age, 3, 4, 5 years, children trusted accurate robots to a similar extent as accurate humans, which is a very interesting outcome of this study. However, while older children distrusted inaccurate robots and humans comparably, the younger children trusted inaccurate robots less than inaccurate humans. So this result indicates a developmental change in children's reliance on informant's characteristics to decide whom to trust. So again, In a few years, maybe children will trust a robot because robot will be more accurate than uneducated human. We'll see. Well, how do humans learn? Of course, when we are very little, we do not just take a book and we do not start with high school mathematics. We have to take baby steps and learn everything step by step, like building blocks of our knowledge. So the learning pyramids, it's definitely very well known that if it's just a lecture, we retain very little information, maybe 5%. When we read, it's 10%. When it's audiovisual, it's 20%. So our meeting today, at least now, it's audiovisual. Then 30% of retained knowledge is gained from demonstration, 50% when the issue is discussed in group, 75% in practice. And something that I definitely agree with is that we learn the most, we retain the most information when we teach others, because we educators, we keep on repeating information. So, of course, the learning curve is not straight. There's also forgetting curves, so we have to retrain, we have to support in order to maintain this learning curve on the rise. How do machines learn? Of course, we talk about artificial intelligence, but it's not intelligence yet. As I have mentioned, we have to teach the machines to do something, to follow some patterns. So in radiology, we rather focus on machine learning and deep learning within AI. So we humans, we are still needed in machine learning because there is a human necessary for extraction of features. And then the features are classified by networks, neural networks. And then there's an output. So the input is the image of a car. And the decision of this very soft network is to decide whether it's a car or not a car. With deep learning, the neural networks are responsible for feature extraction and classification. So the basic classical examples of classifier attributes is to make a difference between a cat and a dog based on, for example, open, closed mouth, eye shape, or dropped or pointed ears. And in some instances, AI is still tricked because it's sometimes difficult to make a difference between a folded towel and a folded skin on a puppy of Shar-Pei dog. So the networks, they are taught to discern edges, some textures, some specific patterns, parts of objects, and then to detect the objects and classify them correctly or sometimes incorrectly. So in fact, when I look at this diagram, it's exactly what we do in radiology, because we humans, we look at images, we're trying to find the borders of a lesion, to find the texture, if it's homogeneous or non-homogeneous, if there are some specific patterns like ground glass, etc., and then to name the objects. So in fact, nowadays we talk about digital dentistry. Some people argue that it shouldn't be called digital dentistry because right now everything is digital, like banking. If you've got an application for your bank on your mobile phone, it's digital as well, and nobody says it's digital bank. It's just a bank, etc. But the concept of digital dentistry includes a lot of applications, but many of them, they are based on images. So definitely these are images from radiographic diagnostic imaging, but it's also histology, histopathology, it's intraoral, extraoral scanning. So these all are images. And as I have already mentioned, when we really radiologists, when we look at images, we tend to report size, location, and whether lesion is radiolucent or radiopaque, whether it's homogeneous or heterogeneous, is it well limited or ill limited? unilocular or multilocular, if there is any root resorption, are there any characteristic patterns, and then we decide whether it's benign or malignant. And the same applies to pathomorphologists looking at cells under microscope. So, of course, we do encounter problems in teaching, including oral radiology. In fact, we have got more and more students, but not enough practical classes with patients. It's very difficult to get retrospective feedback for students because we have too many of them and probably not enough hours of classes. The analysis of radiographs is time-consuming, especially for students. For us radiologists with experience, it's easy, but for students have to focus more on a radiograph, and it takes time. And after the pandemic of COVID, and also due to some economical changes, modern teaching is often delivered online. So here, some digital tools are definitely very helpful. So that's why we started to use AI-based platforms in dental education that are applied for analysis of radiographs, for support of teachers in creating tests and exams, and to provide higher quality of education based on AI. In the application, we can use the educator panel, and Elif will talk more about the software itself. There is the student panel allowing solving test questions, but most importantly, annotation of radiographic landmarks on X-rays in reply to test questions. And here in the software, the students are offered feedback, which allows for self-improvements. So the AI-based education platform creates an environment for practice. It allows practical tests online, final exams online, and data stored in cloud. The software can be applied to bite-wing radiographs, to periapicals, and also to panoramic radiographs, allowing annotation of anatomical landmarks, identification and tooth numbering, detection of lesions such as dental caries, impacted teeth, root remnants, periapical lesions, periodontal bone disease, cysts, tumors, and evaluation of what has already been done in terms of treatments. We have started with first research done by students on very simple AI applications. And one of our students, Camila, you can see her here in the picture, she has already presented some preliminary results in our local conference. So, in fact, some people say that with the onset of AI, we radiologists, not only just oral radiologists, but also medical radiologists, we are like this coyote from classical cartoon. So, you know, this ostrich does this terrible noise, beep, beep, and suddenly the coyote is scared, it's over the cliff. And in real life, of course, the laws of gravity act and somebody would fall down immediately. But in the cartoon, the coyote is still in the air for a few seconds before the coyote falls down. So some people argue that we radiologists are like the coyote. We haven't realized yet that AI will get rid of us and kick us out of the market. But really? Well, of course, large language models are extremely popular nowadays. And I've asked ChatGPT, who is oral radiologist. So the answer was pretty much accurate. And I asked the question, will AI replace oral radiologists as profession? So it's interesting to learn from AI what AI thinks about something. And the reply was, while AI technology is advancing rapidly in the field of healthcare, including radiology, it's unlikely that AI will completely replace oral radiologists. AI can assist radiologists in interpreting images more efficiently and accurately, but human expertise and judgment are still crucial in making complex diagnostic and treatment decisions. Oral radiologists bring a unique understanding of oral health and diseases that AI currently cannot replicate. So, well, at first I was happy to learn that, okay, AI thinks that I will not be replaced by AI. But then I suddenly realized that the answer of ChatGPT is based on the search of the content on the internet. And the content of internet is what we humans write. So if we think that AI will not replace us, the ChatGPT will just extract the information and present it to me. Okay, so in fact, some of many of the papers, abstracts presented during the FDA World Dental Congress that was held in Istanbul in September last year, they were dedicated to use of ChatGPT. They were developed by groups of researchers from Turkey. So, for example, this study aimed to compare the knowledge capacity of ChatGPT versions on intraosseous lesions with fourth-year dental students. And in September last year, the conclusion was that while AI shows promise as an educational tool, this study emphasizes its insufficiency as a standalone resource. Further research is still needed. Another study focused on the question, is artificial intelligence sufficiently ready for the Turkish dentistry specialty exam? And this research has revealed differences in the accuracy of different AI programs' responses to educational materials and specific questions. Although the statistical results show that these differences are not statistically significant, they provide important insights into the development of AI programs and their potential use in education. So last year, I also asked ChatGPT version 4, what if I upload a radiograph for you? Will you be able to provide me some differential diagnosis? So ChatGPT answered that it was unable to analyze images or patient information directly, but could help me with answering questions. Therefore, I described a case of a patient, 49-year-old, asymptomatic, but a few months ago she has been feeling pain on the second right lower premolar. Right now, on a panoramic taken due to other indications, it revealed a well-defined corticated radiolucency measuring around 4 millimeters in diameter at the apex of the right lower second premolar. So I asked for differential diagnosis, and well, apart from nasopalatine duct cysts that really would not occur in lower premolar, at least the first three listed by AI were pretty much correct. However, I always say that in order to use ChatGPT, you need to have some knowledge to be able to assess whether the reply is really correct or not. And I did ask the same question today before this webinar. So if I upload a radiograph for you, will you be able to analyze it? And this time, after less than 1 year, ChatGPT told me, yes, I can analyze a radiograph if you upload it. Please go ahead and upload the image and I will help you with the analysis. So I gave him quite see to look for in some images and
I guess there's an internet connection problem, but
Could you repeat like 5 sentences? We didn't hear anything, Professor Ingrid. So could you go back one slide if you like? So we didn't hear anything.
From which slides? Can you specify to which slide I should go back? What was the last
I think
that you
that
heard?
I think that was the second one. I mean the roots.
With this one?
Yeah, we couldn't see anything. We couldn't hear anything.
From the beginning, or?
I
Sorry.
think we can
Professor, you can start with
from here.
differential diagnosis part. You can
Okay,
start
the
after
differential
that part.
Okay, this one. Thank you, Elif.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm in a place with good internet connection overall. So the ChatGPT in September last year, it provided me with a differential diagnosis, out of which the 3 were very correct, and the 5th one was incorrect, because you wouldn't expect a nasopalatine duct cyst at lower premolar. I asked the same question today before our webinar. So if I upload a radiograph for you, will you be able to analyze it? And this time, ChatGPT told me, yes, I could analyze a radiograph if you upload it. Please go ahead and upload the image, and I'll help you with the analysis. So I uploaded a very simple periapical radiograph for ChatGPT, and then I didn't quite get the report, but I got a template on what to look for in such a radiograph. And again, this is something that we teach our students. Look at teeth, look for an abnormalities in structure or positioning of teeth, including caries. Look at roots, any signs of infections or irregular shapes that might suggest resorption. Look at bone structure, searching for periodontal bone disease, and finally assess fillings and restorations. I asked the ChatGPT to be more specific if he or she could prepare a real report of the radiograph, but then I didn't get the report. Again, I got just a structured template for the report, and with a comment that for personalized interpretation, please consult with a dentist or oral radiologist. So maybe we radiologists are still here, but what about family? This is a interesting but maybe scary application that I have found recently, and it's called InTouch. It's AI-based application which is made for seniors, which is available just like AI 24/7, and it rounds daily conversations instead of family members who don't have time to call their relatives. So the aim of AI-based application is to keep the mind of senior active, engaged, stimulated, support their emotional well-being and legacy, and give peace of mind with daily updates sent to the family member. So this is what it looks like. You get the information from the app after the call. Joyful talk about gardening and family. And then 2 days later, neutral talk about cats and chess. Again, 4 days later, do you need me to bring anything next time I come to you, etc., etc. And then there's summing up of the conversation and some hints. For example, Margaret is especially fond of tea topics because she enjoys tea culture, making it a great subject to discuss with her. Ask her about her first bike next time, a suggestion what to talk about. So maybe you like the app. At this moment, I'm quite scared by it, but who knows, in 20 years, maybe I will talk to AI-based companion because my daughters will be too busy to call me. Well, last year, the Nobel Prize in Physics was awarded to John Hopfield and Geoffrey Hinton for discoveries that enable machine learning with artificial neural networks. So definitely, the Academy, when assessing candidates for Nobel Prize, they evaluated insight into AI very, very highly. And in fact, in 2015, the guy whom we know maybe not from the best side now, but at least we know his face. 10 years ago, he said that there would be self-driving cars in just 2 years. In 2016, the Professor Geoffrey Hinton, the Nobel Prize winner I have just shown you, he predicted that in 5 years, radiologists would be obsolete. So he said so in 2016 and predicted that in 2021 we would be gone. So in 2025, the radiologists in regular cars are still driving to work, at least those who do not work from home in teleradiology. But we are still here in front of the computers. And in fact, you can see this tiny correction. I pasted 5 instead of 4 because this image was from last year. And then I asked ChatGPT, could you change 2024 to 25 in this picture in such a way that fonts match? And something went wrong. I didn't get anything from ChatGPT, so I had to do it myself, better or worse, but I did it. So in summary, I think that radiologists will be replaced, but not radiologists by AI, but radiologists who do not work with tools based on AI will be replaced by radiologists who use AI in their daily work. So I would like to conclude with a quote from Albert Einstein saying that joy in looking and comprehending is nature's most beautiful gift. And this is, of course, what we radiologists do. We look and we comprehend, we understand what we are looking at with our minds. Thank you very much for your kind attention. And now I will stop sharing my screen and hand over to Dr. Elif.
Yeah, it's my turn. Okay.
Yes.
Now I want to start with sharing my screen. Okay, you can see my screen sharing, right?
Yes.
No problem. That's
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Elif Sena Sargın. It's an honor for me to be a part of this webinar. I would like to thank Professor Şevki Bayraktar and Professor Ingrid Kalinowska, also my supervisor, Professor Derya Yıldırım, and whole CranioCatch team. I will talk about my experiences with CranioCatch education module and how to use it. Well, now I want to start my presentation. Okay, well, this is the entrance page. You can log in from this page. Let's start with creating a student list. On the right side of the bar, you can see group students, and you can add students to related group by clicking this Add Students to Group button. And you need to enter student informations over here. You need to fill blank parts. There is also another similar way. You can select a group to add students in it with the same way by clicking here. And also it's possible to see all of the students from different groups in the student list. Actually, this is our main page after login. There is an option to change the language over here on the right side of the screen. And also, toolbar on the left side includes practices, course list, archive practices, create course button, student list, group list, label creation button, and custom label list options. I mean, everything you want is listed from here. If you want to create a course, I will show it on one of the courses that already created. Let's see the course details. Here, you can decide a course question. It's up to you, and you can adjust difficulty level with the threshold bar. And you can select a radiograph type and also can select many different radiographic findings. Some of them already trained by AI and can be detectable automatically, the ones with green marks on the right side. For other ones, you need to annotate on your own. On the upper right side, we are seeing a menu for uploading images and related question lines. Here, you can add different radiographs with questions, and you can choose radiograph type, for example, periapical, panoramic, etc. And even you can upload an intraoral image. Also, if you cannot find the label you want to put in your practice on the list, you can create your own label for annotation from this page. For creating a practice, you can decide a student group, and you can select a course from your list that you already created. And also you can determine a deadline for the practice. Now I want to show you an instruction video that I prepared for students. Let's take a look at it. First of all, check question line before starting annotation. Then pick up your pen. You can zoom in or zoom out for an easier annotation to make things visible. Now it shows how to do labeling while clicking. It's time for the pick up the correct label. Let's continue with remained annotations. Almost done. In this menu, you can see all of your diagnoses and you can arrange them if you want. For example, you can delete or change the label type. And also you can change brightness and contrast levels. Last thing, check your radiographs and quit the practice. I think it's convenient to explain this procedure to students to how to use CranioCatch for practice. Well, it was like that. Let's think about. We did the practice and we finished it. Now it's time for evaluate the students' answers. AI can automatically calculate average precision, sensitivity, F1 score, etc. And for each student, it gives them a final note for the practice. Here we are seeing an answer belongs to a student. Yellow lines are our grand truth. I mean, yellow ones belongs to teachers and AI's annotations. Green ones are students' correct answers. Red ones are students' incorrect answers. It means that the labeling area of student doesn't match enough with AI. If he or she doesn't do an annotation, for example, misses or skips it, it is shown with blue lines, but there is no missing annotation in terms of this radiograph. Here you can see the student labeled correctly the impacted canine, but mislabeled the delacerated tooth. This one is student's incorrect answer, and this is our grand truth. In one of the questions, we ask for a piercing and this piercing's ghost image. But it's interesting that many students counted this bite block in the middle as a ghost image for piercing. I also wanted to share it. Okay, well, when I was in Poland with my Erasmus in Professor Ingrid's University in Medical University of Lublin, thanks to her, I got a chance to visit their simulation center. They have a room in there dedicated for VR machines. They are teaching students with VR. For example, you can create a virtual patient and ask to students to diagnose and perform treatments for related situations. While they are using VR, they can feel what they are doing, which is an amazing thing for me. It's a so sensitive machine. And it's a great way to gain experience before real patients. Like in this example, with CranioCatch, especially students from Generation Z, you know, they were born into technology and also they tend to prefer contemporary methods than traditional ones. Students can do more practices with radiographs in this way, not just in the dental school, also at home, they can practice with their tablets and computers. The more familiar they are with radiographic findings, the better they will do treatments in future, in my opinion. At the beginning, it's a bit hard to adaptate to the program, but once you start to labeling, you become better quickly. So CranioCatch education module is really convenient way to teach new generation. And I think it's necessary for follow-up AI developments and their implements in educational field. And it will be better to use such AI programs like CranioCatch in educational curriculum. And apart from all of this, I have two recommendations for development team. First one, when creating a course, it will be nice to switch between the questions. By this way, it could be possible to put them in an order from easy to hard, etc., or just changing the order. Second one, the most common feedback from students was finding an easier way to undo while putting dots for determining the area. My eyes also search for such button. I mean, it would be really nice to go one step back while putting dots instead of delete the whole annotation. Small but clever changes, I guess. That's all I wanted to share with you. Thank you. Yeah, my part was like that.
So maybe at this time we can get the questions. Okay.
By the way, that was a great session from you too. Thanks for your contributions.
Thank you so much, Fadima.
Yeah, dear
thank
Ingrid and dear Elif, thank you so much. Really, it's a
you,
great
Professor.
presentation.
Mhm.
You experienced it really well to CranioCatch education module, and I really appreciate this presentation. And of course, their feedback is very important for us as a user. We will try to improve our software. Actually, really, thank you so much for all your support.
Thank you so much for the chance that we got to use the
Hello,
software.
good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Dear
Delia.
Professor Ingrid and Professor İbrahim Şevki. Elif Sena. It's a great pleasure to listen your clear lecture, Professor Kalinowska. I couldn't experience this CranioCatch education software, but I listened about your experiences. I think it's a great it has a great future for education, especially the younger students with using AI and ChatGPT and digital technologies, and it can give a lot of good teaching abilities to teachers and students. Thank you. I hope it will be go better in the future in recent years. Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you for your good reviews, Professor Derya. It's really important for me, especially.
Okay, so do we have any kind of talks or question we are waiting from our participants? Okay. So it was a pleasure to see you. So you accept our invitation, and you are here right now, and it's really nice to see you here. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. It was my pleasure to be with you tonight in this webinar.
Yeah, same here. It
to
was a
see you
teamwork.
soon. Yeah, welcome to Lublin. We are very open to international exchange. So last year we hosted students from Turkey. This year PhD students, and probably one more will be coming. So we are really open.
You are supporting to us every time, dear Ingrid. We are so happy to really for that. Many students visited to you, and you really support our society and our really oral diagnosis and maxillofacial radiology. In Turkey, you are supporting to very much, and we are appreciate to you really. And of course, for this night also, we are so appreciated to you and dear Elif, and of course dear Professor Derya, to support the Elif to visit the Ingrid. It's a great experience, I think. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
I think there is no question, and Eren, we can close the webinar. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
And hope to see you soon.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
See you. Bye.